Hello. Let me do an audio here. 1, 2, 1, 2. All is good. All right. Cool. We're going to get right into it today. Just make sure that everything's looking good here. All right. Everything looks good. All right. Everything looks good. Let's see. What are we starting with today? All right. So we're starting with the PSL article, PSL statement. We condemn the police attacks against student Gaza encampments. And this is by Party for Socialism and Liberation, April 30th, 2024. The photo is of protesters support the encampment at Columbia University on the day of the April 30 police attack. The Party for Socialism and Liberation condemns the outrageous police attack against student encampments at colleges and universities around the country that have been organized in opposition to U.S. support for the Israeli genocide in Gaza. The students have been demanding not only a ceasefire, but a complete end to U.S. support for the Israeli regime. Students have called for universities and colleges to divest as part of a larger movement that is sweeping the country, demanding that all U.S. corporate entities and other institutions cut financial ties with Israel. The Israeli government has been condemned by the people of the world for its genocidal assault against the people in Gaza. Nonetheless, the Biden administration continues to finance Israel's killing spree. Continues to finance and arm Israel's killing spree. The students who have been targeted by the police, who have been arrested and brutalized, represent the conscience of the people of the United States. The outrageous attack by the police on students in Columbia University and throughout the country will not stop the growing movement in support of the Palestinian people and in opposition of the U.S. financing of Israeli war crimes in Gaza. And as we've spoken about this before, this is just exactly what happened like in Vietnam. I suggest and persuade for people not to be on the wrong side of history, be on the right side of history, support the students, just like in Vietnam, and support all people that are trying to stop the genocide in Gaza. Cool. That was a good statement. All right, let's move on to another article for today. All right, this article reads, Mayday communique from the Sudanese Communist Party. Mayday communique from the Mayday communique. I don't know why this is. Mayday communique from the Sudanese, holy crap, Mayday communique from the Sudanese Communist Party. This is by Sudanese Communist Party, May 1st, 2024. It's a 3-minute read. Download PDF flyer. Photo is members of the Sudanese Communist Party at the demonstration. Central Committee Secretariat of the Sudanese Communist Party, May Day Communique. The broadest popular lines to stop the war and reclaim the revolution. Cease arbitrary arrest and brutal torture of detainees. Improve living conditions, disburse worker salaries, and provide essential services. As we commemorate May Day, International Workers' Day, the cursed war enters its second year, extending from Khartoum to Darfur, Kordofan, Khartoum, Gezira, and beyond, leading to the displacement of millions within and outside the country and causing the death, injury, and disappearance of thousands. This war aims to suppress the revolution, compromise national sovereignty, empower parasitic capitalism within the warring factions to control the market, loot the country's wealth, and continue economic liberalization policies that have impoverished millions of our people. Moreover, the war has worsened living, economic, and security conditions, increased the suffering of workers and laborers due to the loss of thousands of jobs following the looting and destruction of factories and infrastructure associated with production of services and agriculture. It has led to continuous price hikes, the depreciation of the Sudanese pound, the disruption of the academic year, markets and banks, the deterioration of healthcare services, the denial of safe humanitarian corridor to reach the affected, and the breakdown in security due to the rapid support forces and the army plundering citizens, vehicles and homes and occupying them. Additionally, there have been disruptions in electricity, water, communications, and internet services, as well as arrest of politicians and activists in resistance and services committees, exemplified by the attack on the Communist Party headquarters and the removal of its sign in Singa, along with brutal torture of detainees held in rapid support forces and army prisons, and restrictions on journalistic freedoms, as evidenced by the expulsion of correspondents from, quote, Al Hadath, quote, Sky News Arabia, end quote, and, quote, Al Arabiya, end quote, and the harassment of journalists through arrest and surveillance of their activities. The war has exacerbated the suffering of citizens who are now on the brink of famine due to food shortages, necessitating maximum effort for the success of the upcoming agricultural season. The continuation of the war threatens to divide the country along ethnic and tribal lines, posing a risk of spillover into neighboring countries due to tribal overlap. Furthermore, there is a risk of regional and international interference aimed at exploiting the country's resources, which includes military presence along the Red Sea as part of the global competition for resources in Sudan and Africa, involving capitalist powers along with China and Russia. On May Day, let us intensify the struggle to stop the war and reclaim the revolution. This entails improving living and working conditions, ensuring timely payment of salaries, strengthening and expanding trade union fronts against the war, and meeting citizens' essential needs in education, health, electricity, water, communications, and internet services. We must reopen schools and universities after a disrupted year, establish safe corridors for aid delivery to those in need, facilitate the return of the military to barracks, and the disbandment of militias, including the rapid support forces, tribal militias, and armed groups. Establish a unified professional national army under civilian oversight, restore normal life, facilitate the return of displaced individuals to their homes, and hold war criminals and perpetrators of human rights abuses accountable. Finally, on May Day, we call for broad participation in popular celebrations inside and outside the country to stop the war and reclaim the revolution in various possible forms. In parentheses, processions, memoranda, etc., end parentheses, escalating the daily demands of the masses, rejecting conciliation and partnership with the military and rapid support forces, which only reproduce crisis and war, and continuing the revolution until its goals and the tasks of the transitional period are achieved. This is the Central Committee Secretariat, Sudanese Communist Party, April 24th, 2024. Yeah, so as you can see, a group like Liberation News and PSL, Party of Socialism and Liberation, support communist goals, even in Sudanese, such as letting the people have control, letting the people decide what is best for them, and making sure that everybody has equality in regards to access to resources that should be basic human needs, like healthcare, education, and housing, and food. Right. What is happening in Sudan is exactly the future of any capitalist system. Once they runs out of capital, and the people try to demand what is rightfully theirs as the laborers of the production. Similar here to like how in the United States, the authoritarian characters of the system finally reveal themselves when people like students protest something that for-profit corporations are totally supportive of for capital gains, such as wars and military manufacturing. This is the core reason why students are being met with such vitriol and with such aggression when they protest to free Palestine, because of the special interest in these colleges to the military industrial complex and to its investors. So we need to understand that this is what happens in all situations that proclaim that they have democracy and freedom, when in the end it's only true as long as you don't challenge them from control and power, and don't demand what is rightfully yours by your labor in a workforce. Okay, so I support this article. This is a good one. Let's move along. All right, here you go. Here's another one from May 1st. This article reads, headline, PSL editorial, the meaning of May Day, we need a revolution. This is from the Liberation staff on May 1st, 2024. Let me take a sip. The countless millions of people who are in the streets today celebrating International Workers' Day are struggling against a world capitalist system that seems to get more and more brutal with each passing year. Today's holiday was founded by people who wanted to end once and for all the exploitation of workers by their bosses and end all the different types of expressions of oppression the working class is subjected to. May Day is about indicting the system, and life under the system has become ever more unbearable and brutal in the last year. The violence being inflicted by the Israeli regime and the Biden administration on the people of Gaza is unspeakable. Already over 35,000 people have been killed in a genocide funded by the US government using our tax dollars. Now, the politicians in Congress and Joe Biden have agreed to send even more money, over $14 billion, to line the pockets of arms industries executives and provide new weapons to the murderers in Israeli armed forces. The majority of Gaza's population has been forced to flee to a tiny area called Rafah, which is about half the size of San Francisco, Israel is threatening to use its U.S. supplied arsenal to launch a full scale invasion on Rafah. In the meantime, Palestinians are left to starve amid a suffocating Israeli siege. As this historic crime is being committed, the system is presenting us with a choice in the presidential election that makes most workers nauseous: Joe Biden or Donald Trump. They are among the most unpopular figures in the country and each have a long record of loyal service to the billionaire class, while President Trump cut taxes for the rich and corporations by $2 trillion, slashed health and safety regulations meant to protect workers and their communities, and installed Supreme Court justices that would go on to end abortion rights and affirmative action. In addition to his crimes in Gaza, Biden banned rail workers from going on strike, wasted well over $100 billion on war in Ukraine, and abandoned all of his promises to improve people's lives with expanded social programs. This is the amazing, quote, democracy, end quote, that the rich and powerful claim is the best in the world. From a young age, we are taught that voting in these sham elections is the only legitimate way to make change. There are revolutionaries like Claudia de la Cruz and Karina Garcia who are running to build opposition to the system, but electoral laws and the media landscape are designed to make it extremely difficult for anyone running outside the two parties to compete. And this year, those twin establishment parties have decided that the candidates on the ballot will be two of the most hated people alive. While we listen to politicians lecture us about democratic values, the planet is burning. Climate change has accelerated. 2023 was the hottest year on record, and 2024 is on track to be even hotter. Wildfires, intense hurricanes, widespread flooding, and other disasters are increasing in frequency. The vast majority of capitalist politicians want to do practically nothing about it. In fact, this year's, quote, Conference of the Parties, end quote, summit organized by the United Nations, supposed to be the world's premier forum on the fight against climate change, was presided over a literal oil executive. The coming COP summit later this year is also set to have an oil executive as its president. All these injustices have a common root. Political and economic power is held by a tiny handful of millionaires and billionaires who make the decisions to go to war, who invited to the donor retreats, and that determines who's viable presidential candidate, who sets environmental policy, who owns the energy grid. May Day is a time to take to the streets and say that it is the working class that should have the power. Our labor makes every aspect of society run. So why shouldn't workers make the decisions instead of leaving that to the ultra-rich who contribute nothing of value to society? A revolution is when one class takes the power from another class. Revolution happened all throughout history when oppressed people decide that they can no longer live under the tyranny of their oppressors. No one can predict what a revolution will look like, but it is clear that only the working class can transform society. On International Workers' Day and every day, we commit ourselves to building towards that transformation. All right. So as I was saying, based on the last article, it's us, the working class, that should have the power and the direct vote. And our sham democracy here in the United States created this power structure with three branches to thwart the vote and the will of the people. That's why we have the judicial branch that nobody elects, that is put in power to actually make the law of the land, which is ridiculous. That part of the branch should be dissolved. It should be totally unnecessary. If the people of the country aren't electing them, then it's not democratic. Our elections are a sham because it's all rigged, as you can see. They constantly rig it through gerrymandering, through laws, through bribes, and through funding, right? Like the oligarchs and the billionaires donate the most money for ads to support the candidates that they want and smear the ones that they don't want. And they oppress independent parties, the oppressed parties, like the Green Party, who the Democrats constantly have tied up in legal actions, siphoning even more money from them. We have parties like the Communist Party, the PSL Party, and people that actually want to run and do good and represent the people, but the people are so misinformed or so warped or so brainwashed that they don't realize what is best in their interests. I'm not saying this as somebody that wants to talk down to anybody. I'm saying this as somebody that wants to provide the factual truth that a lot of people don't even know what they're voting for half the time. I was there. I was an 18-year-old, fully supportive of the conservative party once in my life. And I think back to my thought process back there, and it was such an ignorant, foolish thought process, thinking that the war in Iraq was justified, that Bush was correct, things that were so absurd, right? And even back then, thinking back that was over 20 years ago, when we were already talking about climate change and how necessary it was. We were talking about climate change back in the 90s, and there's still nothing seriously done about like the emissions that are raising the temperature around the world. Which is ridiculous because these are proven facts that climate change exists, that there's the issues correlate directly with human action, the fossil fuels we burn, the chemicals we use, the way we cut down trees from rainforests. So I invite people to keep studying and do the research for yourself, because there's nothing better not to believe people, but to actually do the research, go down the rabbit hole, and discover all these truths on your own, which has been an intense experience for me for the last over 20 years, 24 years, to research and find the truth and come at finally the point where I am now, where I'm of full support of like Marxist Leninism, which is that the working class should control the system, not the system control the working class. Cool. Let's move along. The article title reads, NewsClick rejects absurd, baseless allegations in Delhi police charge sheet. This is an article by NewsClick editorial team on May 2nd. The photo is of October 2023 demonstration in support of NewsClick at the New York Times offices, credit liberation photo. So there's people holding signs saying, stop the slander against anti-war voices, hands off NewsClick and independent media. All right, and this statement was reprinted from NewsClick. Several reports have appeared in the media reproducing allegations from the Delhi police's charge sheet against NewsClick and its editor-in-chief, Prabir Purkayastha. Many of these reports have been published without seeking a response from NewsClick. We have consistently maintained that we do not seek a media trial, that we do not want to discuss matters that are sub judice, and that we have full faith in the judicial process. However, given the gravity and too often the sheer absurdity of the allegations, we would like to state the following. The allegations against NewsClick and Prabir Purkayastha are completely baseless. NewsClick and Prabir have not been involved in any terrorist act, nor is there any evidence for the same. Prabir does not have links to any terrorist group. Number two, the timing of these reports makes it clear that they aim to prejudice public opinion and pending judicial proceedings. Only yesterday, April 30th, 2024, cognizance of the offenses was taken, and this is selective leaking of the charge sheet filed by the Special Cell of the Delhi police. The charge sheet is nothing but a set of opinions of the investigating officer parading as allegations. These allegations will be firmly contested by NewsClick and Prabir. Prabir's long-term association with the Communist Party of India, Marxist, he has been a member for over 50 years, means he would never support, financially or otherwise, either Maoist, Lashkar-e-Taiba, or any other group or individual with any violent and or illegal plans. His political involvement and views are very much in the public realm. Number 4, like many media organizations, NewsClick covered major developments in the country, including the farmers' protest and the anti-CAA NRC protests. The work of our journalists is in the public domain. Neither NewsClick nor Prabir supplied cash for distribution to protesters, and neither did they stoke any riots. Number 5, NewsClick has followed all the relevant rules with regard to maps and its news bulletins and articles. All this work is in the public domain. Number 6, throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, NewsClick published discussions with and comments by a range of experts. The common thread in all this was the importance of affordable and safe universal vaccination and a scientific approach to the management of the pandemic. Prabir has been over several decades part of science and technology groups that have advocated self-reliance, strengthening indigenous manufacturing capacity in the pharmaceutical sector. He has also argued against intellectual property barriers to make vaccines inaccessible to the poor. Again, all this work is publicly available on NewsClick in the forms of articles and videos. NewsClick reiterates once again that the investigations by the Delhi police and other agencies are attempts to target our independent journalism. NewsClick's coverage of protests and critics of the government's police is being portrayed as anti-India. All the allegations leveled against us are concocted and baseless. These allegations are based on the statements of protected witnesses which have to be proven in court. There is no corroboration material to support these statements, which will be contested by NewsClick and the courts in due course. We are confident that Prabir, NewsClick, and the work of all its journalists will be vindicated. NewsClick editorial team. So this is an example of how the government and people in power keep truth tellers busy by smearing them and throwing legal battles at them, trying to defund them one way or another. As this article states, the leaks are commentary leaks made by police officers that are in the interest of the government, to defend the government, right? These statements made in reports are not full charges. They're just smears. They're just comments that were all of a sudden leaked, right? This is obviously a smear job by the government to try to discredit a news source that is doing great work whistleblowing and exposing stories that are necessary for the public to know. If governments didn't have issues with the truth, if they weren't doing nefarious things, they wouldn't have a secret service. And that's the plain truth. That's exactly what's happening here. They don't have a secret service or a deep secret service system to protect us from the truth. That is the lie that parents tell their kids when they want to manipulate them. I didn't tell you because I was protecting you from the truth. No, the truth, the lies don't protect people. Concealing truths from people don't help them. It's best to talk about things and expose things. This is exactly what the U.S. does with its independent news sources that stray from the messaging that the higher-ups or the corporations or the powers that be want supported. So always, again, I want to reiterate, it's always important to, when you read articles, to have these articles provide sources. Like when you read a book and then you look at the back and the index doesn't have a lot of resources or a lot of sources cited, you should be very skeptical that if that's a real book based on factual events and research, or if it's a novel or a sci-fi book, because real journalists, real scholars that write books go through great lengths to prove their statements and their factual information by providing the resources so that you can go further down the rabbit hole if you don't believe them, or if you're very suspicious of what is being talked about, or if you just want to expand your knowledge. And I'm more than sure that if Liberation News is supporting NewsClick, is because they are sure and aware that NewsClick has plenty of references and data to prove their innocence. Okay. Let me see if this is one of the final ones. Okay, so this will probably be a deep one for Haiti here. Let me take another sip just to make sure I have. All right. The title to this reads, Haiti, Transitional Council has direct ties to imperialist forces weakening. Excuse me, let me start that again. Haiti, Transitional Council has direct ties to imperialist forces wreaking havoc in Haiti. Written by Kirby Joseph, May 2nd, 2024. All right, let's focus on this one. This is the last one for today. On April 25th, news spread that a transitional council has been appointed into power in Haiti. You read that right, appointed. This 9-member transitional council, with its 7 voting members, will have the authority to set up a new cabinet and other key state institutions, nominally to prepare for elections in 2026 that remain very much in doubt. This council has been a long time in the making, yet not made by or elected by the Haitian people. After the disgraced former Prime Minister Ariel Henry resigned from his post on March 11th, the chair of CARICOM, Guyanese President Irfan Ali, almost immediately held a press conference in Kingston, Jamaica. Ali put an agenda on the table for a, quote, transitional governance arrangement, end quote, in order to enforce the, quote, rule of law, end quote, in Haiti. The Haitian people were not consulted on this strategy. In fact, the only ones consulted were a few handpicked, quote, Haitian stockholders, end quote, and, quote, international development partners, end quote, like Canada, France, Mexico, and the United States and UN, nations and bodies that have always had colonialist interest in Haiti that has led to Haiti's current crisis. Since last year, it has been clear that the installment of a U.S. UN-managed pliable Haitian government to carry out a hidden occupation has always been in the works. Ariel Henry's resignation speech was posted to social media on April 24th, and the transitional council was immediately, quote, officially installed, end quote, the next day. Henry's corrupt outgoing cabinet named Economy Minister Michel Patrick Boisvert as interim prime minister, who has been serving as the prime minister of Haiti for Henry since he was blocked from entering Haiti at the end of February. CBS News reported that Henry has been protected by the United States Secret Service while abroad. But then, among the new transitional council's first official acts was appointing Fritz Belizaire in a shock move to replace Boisvert, gaining the support from 4 of the 7 voting members of the 9-member panel. Yet other panel members said they were unfamiliar with Belizaire, who had been serving as the Minister of Sports and is largely unknown to the Haitian people. Another iteration of puppet leaders has been appointed to maintain the status quo in Haiti. The, quote, transitional council, end quote, is packed with elites from the traditional establishment. This includes Smith Agustin, who is the former ambassador to the Dominican Republic. Luis Heraldez, a former senator, is also a member of the council. His grouping is still associated with outgoing Prime Minister Ariel Henry. Fritz Alphonse Jean is an economist and president of Haitian Institute of Public Policies, who had been a top central bank official. Edgar Leblanc Fils used to lead the Haitian Senate. Laurent Saint-Cyr is the president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Haiti and an insurance company executive. His name is Laurent Saint-Cyr. Emmanuel Vertulaire, the chairman, is a judge of the Cap Haitian Court, and Leslie Voltaire is a longtime politician who was a member of previous presidential administrations. So there's a photo of four of them right here, and the photo description reads, some members of the Transitional Council, clockwise from top, Laurent Saint-Cyr, president of the American Chamber of Commerce in Haiti and an insurance company executive, Edgar Leblanc Fils, former leader of the Haitian Senate, Fritz Alphonse Jean, economist and president of Haitian Institute of Public Policies, and former top central bank official, let me repeat that, former top central bank official, Emmanuel Vertulaire, the chairman, a judge of the Cap Haitian Court. All right, that was Liberation Graphic. Back to the report. The observers include Regine Abraham, who rose to prominence in the wake of the Petro-Caribe embezzlement scandal. She has worked for major institutions responsible for the destabilization of Haiti, the World Bank, and the European Union. And lastly, Fernell Joseph, an evangelical religious figure, these 9 individuals with ties to political corruption, theft, and direct ties to imperialist forces that have wreaked havoc in Haiti hope to be in power until at least 2026. The majority of the Haitian people don't buy this transitional council and consider it just as illegitimate as Ariel Henry's presidency was. The transitional council is expected to support the U.S. orchestrated deployment of the Kenyan police force into the nation. In other words, this transitional council is supporting a U.S. UN-backed foreign intervention into Haiti. In fact, they are bringing out the welcome mat. This deployment is part of the Multinational Security Support Mission, or MSS, a UN-US manufactured deployment. The same imperialist forces responsible for Haiti's crumbling infrastructure have fully funded Haiti's upcoming occupation. As the Dominican Today's reported, MSS, quote, will be deployed in Haiti to assist the Haitian police and has been a fully funded operation. Of the millions raised, Canada has provided the most, $8.7 million, followed by the US with $6 million and France, $3.2 million. So the spokesperson's office once again urged members states to be more generous and fill the gap to cover all the needs, end quote. All the while, this occupation is being painted as a peacekeeper's mission, yet the Kenyan police forces won't even be able to communicate with the Haitian people because they don't speak Haitian, Creole, or French. And let's not forget that the Kenyan police force have carried out human rights violations in Kenya, and yet they will be allowed to roam freely in Haiti under the guise of, quote, security, end quote. These Haitian people need their self-determination and dignity recognized in order for them to be safe and to be free. Jean-Jacques Dessalines once said, quote, we have dared to be freed. Let us dare to be so by ourselves and for ourselves, end quote. Since 1791, the Haitian people have been daring to be free, fighting for their self-determination, pushing the needle of liberation forward against the imperialist odds. But the struggle for freedom has not ended. This orchestrated transitional council proves that. This upcoming Haitian invasion proves that the Haitian majority requires our support. There is a solidarity call that still stands that is clear. No U.S. UN-backed transitional council, no occupation. It's time for Haitians to have the nation they fought for and deserve. Hands off Haiti now. All right, so yeah, I'm full support of Haiti and its self-determination. And by self-determination, I mean the people of Haiti, the working class. Um, it's crazy how blatantly clear this article makes it. But then you'll go on to channels like CNN or Fox, and they'll say that the American people and the Western countries are funding to bring democracy to Haiti when they're just funding another cash grab to keep stealing resources. I hope the Haitian people can resist the fresh developed UN occupation by the Western empires uh, and keep up their self-sovereignty. My respect and my full support for Haiti. I hope they can resist. I hope these people are not kept in power until 2026. I hope they are quickly removed, as quickly as they removed their puppet president. Um, and the Haitian people can start developing their own system of democracy and rule. Sorry, that's my. I forgot to set this to silent. Um, yeah, so that's what I think about this. And yeah, and it's really important, like I said, to do the research and to find, to look into the Haitian history and to see all of the suffering that the people have studied, all the suffering and all the wars the people of Haiti has suffered to get to this point. Where yeah, some people from the outside can look in through a little window and look at Haiti and say, "What a mess! It's terrible. Please help them." Um, I think the only reason or the only way outside forces should ever help a country or a nation is by sending them aid in the form of education, technology, and medicine. When you send them aid in the form of military weapons, or try to actually send puppet regimes in there to develop their country, you're not giving them self-sovereignty or self-determination. You're just exploiting them again, which is the same as like what's happening with Israel and Palestine. You're not really helping anybody anywhere in the world by funding Israel with more arms, more military arms, which is a state that shouldn't exist anyways, as I will always say. My support is for a one-state solution where Palestinians, Jews, and all the religions in the area can vote for a true democracy where they all can live humbly as they did before Israel was imposed into the land by colonialists that are total ghouls. Uh, I just find it deranged that people still think that there's a reason to support Israel at this point. Like, imagine the kind of ghoulishness or the kind of lack of actual interest to learn and know the information that people have to be at to look at what Israel is doing to Palestine and justify the occupation of Gaza and destruction of Gaza. Over 90% of Gaza destroyed. I mean, you don't even have to know much of the truth. All you have to know is that they've destroyed over 90% of Gaza and killed over 15,000 children in such a quick span of time, in less than 6 months. Um, this is not sustainable. This is not humans advancing or becoming a better being on this earth. How can we say that we are the most advanced and logical human beings when we cannot accept our faults and our errors and learn from them and advance in a more peaceful manner? Like animals in the wild, they kill to feed each other. Human beings are killing each other for profit. How much more depraved and disgusting is that to support a system that funds billions of dollars to Israel to genocide people for the profit of others? It's gross, and I hope people actually study this more. Um, it's the same with Haiti. How can we say that we're decent people and human beings when we don't support Haiti? when our only support is send them more arms and teach them how to be a democratic, free capitalist system? What if Haiti doesn't want to be a capitalist system like Vietnam? What if they want to be better to each other? What if they want to take care of each other, right? So I hope Haiti finds their own leader like Ho Chi Minh to lead them forward to a brighter future where they can all live in peace and all have equity in the form of free education, free healthcare, and a minimal standard of living for everybody, which means housing for everybody. And the most advanced, resourceful time in existence for human beings, that's the minimal that everybody deserves. Housing, shelter, food, healthcare, and education. I'm not telling you to give everybody a Lambo and give everybody uh, uh, Gucci clothes. I'm telling you to give them the basics so that they can all thrive equally, not the scam of capitalism that we have now. Okay. Let's not forget that everybody in America likes to act like we work hard, but actually our gains are at the cost and the exploitation of other people around the world. So don't be so proud of yourself. We live in a society, and we need to change our society for the better. And patriotism is for fools. If you're a real patriot, if you really care about humanity, you want to change it for the best. You don't accept it and just say that you need to be proud of something. That's just nonsense. That's just total brainwash. Let's see what else I can talk about. Yeah, that's those are my thoughts for today based on these articles. Let me see if there's any comments. Perhaps people are curious. No, all is good for today. All right, so let me summarize again. This is a live stream reading leftist articles every Sunday evening around 8 p.m. I am not paid for this. There is no ads here, as it says on the bar down at the bottom. No ads here, just a leftist read-along for people to listen to and share. Like I said, this is non-profit. So if you feel like you need to read more articles, Liberation News has thousands of articles. It goes back dozens of years, a couple of decades. So feel free. And they always have hyperlinks for resources on their articles because they do like providing resources and facts. You can read in the description box. There's the link to Liberation News if you want to support them or if you want to read their articles. There's also a link for myself if you want to see more on this channel. This is, like I said, no ads, no monetization article, mainly for myself so that I can, it's a way of me journaling and keeping myself reading these articles every Sunday. So make sure I get that reading done. And at the same time, helping out people in my own way. If you can't read articles, you can just listen to this podcast or live stream whenever you have time and make your own thoughts. Drop in the comments now or later if you have any comments or disagreements. I'm not here to argue with people. I'm here to learn. So if you ever feel like you have something to say and you want to talk about it, you feel free to say it on the live stream or feel free to say it in the comments and they can be addressed. All right. Everybody have an excellent end to your weekend. Have an excellent work week. Don't forget, we are the ruling class. The working class should be the ruling class, not the elites, not the oligarchs, and not the sham democracy that we have. Real democracy is one vote equal for everybody. Okay? And that should be across the board for all elections for everything. None of these delegates nonsense, none of this gerrymandering, none of these crazy rules that they put up to make it difficult to vote. It should be simple. If your town has 100 people, all 100 of you should be able to vote, and it should be counted as 100 votes, and the highest vote wins. None of this nationwide delegate stuff that is so crazy. If the nation is voting, then maybe the nation should vote just as if it's 300 million people, then out of those 300 million people, if over 150 million vote for a president, that president should be the winner, period, right? They're trying to say it's because of, so now I'm getting into a rant about electoral politics. But no, that's the way it should be. Or if you want to make it more fair, the delegates should represent the population of each state so that it's evenly distributed. Yeah, if California is bigger than Ohio population wise by 10, I don't know, 10 million to 1 million, then yeah, all those votes should count as more weight because it's a bigger state and it's actually one of the biggest economies in the world. All right. There's no reason why they shouldn't have more representation, being that there are more people. All right. So, and it goes the same for red states like Texas, Florida. Yeah, they should have more representation. That's just the way it should be. So in the end, yeah, if it's 300 million votes and 150 million plus one vote for a certain president, then he should win. And that should be that. All right. I'm sure later on there will be more articles in regards to Joe Biden and Trump. I would even throw RFK in that bunch of elitists. I don't think RFK really represents anything. All three of them support Israel, which is a Zionist movement, which is ghoulish, which is oppressing Palestinian people, which the same way that oligarchs here represent the working class in some ways with the brutality that if you don't do your job and you actually push against the status quo, you will be beaten into submission. So that is what the empire stands for, and that is not what I support. I support peaceful revolutions until the ruling class makes it unpeaceful. Okay, so that is my comments. Like I said, my status right now on the electoral politics, I'm looking to support Jill Stein or Claudia de la Cruz. I support both of them right now because I think they both have a message that is very important. Jill Stein with the Green Party definitely has the upper hand with all the gathering of resources and the long time record of organizing. Claudia de la Cruz's message is loud and clear with the PSL party, which I find it way more leftist than the Green Party. But it is literally what we should be aiming for, the platform of liberation of PSL. And then again, the platform of Jill Stein isn't that far off either. I look forward to seeing them to debate or have conversations together because I think that it's important. I think it's important for them to debate even with people like RFK. But I doubt RFK, who is pressuring Joe Biden and Trump to debate with him, I doubt he will even debate with Jill Stein or Claudia de la Cruz because he would get clobbered, literally factually clobbered by facts. Just the way that he can clobber probably Trump or Biden just because he's more energetic and can smear their records. And they don't really have much to smear him on. They're just going to say the classical. I mean, only Trump could probably smear him a little, saying the classic, oh, well, you work for your donors kind of nonsense, like if Trump doesn't, right? Okay, so again, check out the description box to support Liberation News or read the articles, and have a great weekend. Goodbye.